it's very possible to bait bursts even in the middle of a combo. I guess we could talk about that. Yosuke, it's kind of hard to provide an example, but like I play against an Elizabeth player all the time, and Elizabeth attacks with her persona almost all the time, right? And she's also like kind of suspending you in the air and like kind of like the top section of the screen in most of her combos. So it's actually very difficult to burst her because she's nowhere near her persona and she won't get knocked away. So what will happen is she'll do a combo with her persona, you'll burst the persona, but the persona doesn't have cooldown, so she can just restart her combo. It's almost like you're resetting yourself if you do a bad burst. Or like, I have seen combos where just people kind of, they see, let's say you're in the middle of being comboed, right? And your burst comes up, a good player will pay attention to that and then they'll like almost kind of like, they can just kind of, you know, finish their combo early or kind of just pause and be like,
see if you burst.
Yeah, and see if you burst right when your burst comes up and block. And then you waste your burst and then you're very vulnerable. You can't do anything as you're falling from a burst. So if you're midair in the middle of a combo, it's a bad idea. Or like, let's say you're really high in the middle of a combo and you're bursting. You can't, you know, I can hit you throughout that entire falling animation. So it's very risky to burst high in the air as well in this game. Yeah, okay, and then, one more burst. We haven't talked about that. One more bursts are really cool. One more bursts are usually best used to end a round. Like let's say, or end a match, the entirety of a match. Let's say you can kill someone and you have 100 meter, right? An easy thing to do is if you land your super, just one more burst and then do your super again. Like Yosuke players will do this a lot. So you do that, whatever, right? One more burst. And then you get another one. And then that nets you the kill. And remember, those do minimum damage too, so you're always gonna get that damage at the end of the combo. And this burst also is like ridiculous. The one more burst is like ridiculous stun. Like that entire time while you're flying up in the air and then falling, you can't tech. Unless it's like at the very end of a very long combo, then I think you can tech. But in most cases, you pretty much can do whatever you want after you one more burst. Another good use of it is if you're confident in the matchup and you don't think you'll need a burst. Like how I mentioned Elizabeth. A lot of times I feel like I just waste a burst if I'm not, because her combos are very hard to burst. So you'll just I would rather use it in a combo sometimes and just net that extra damage. So it kind of depends on how confident you are that you'll get bursted or not. You can't burst in the middle of a super also. So if your opponent, let's say, this happens a lot against Kanji too. Like Kanji will have these combos where he'll just be like, oh, I do my throw, and then one more cancel, or I'll do a very short combo into my throw or some super, right? And it's like there's no time to burst in there, or you're like none of the damage comes from any of the hits before the super, so you're kind of wasting your burst if you burst him. So it's better, in the Kanji matchup, I feel like I would rather use my burst as a yellow burst more often, or one more burst than the blue burst.
Gotcha.
And using it as a combo breaker.
So it's more matchup specific rather than just timing in the match. There's some, but that's the beauty of this game, I think. That's where the depth comes from, is it's very simple, but then every going against each character is like a whole different game, it feels like, because they're so unique and different. So you get, it's a lot more developed than it looks on paper, to be honest. And you just have to play it, I think. Hopefully people will play it, and and they'll get to see for themselves.